coast to coast right around Australia, welcome to Chris Conroy's World of Boats.
Hi, welcome aboard. North Stradbroke Island is the second in the chain of 5 great sand islands which stretch north from Surfers Paradise along the Queensland coast. Now, it's not as big as Fraser Island, which is about 100 miles north, and it's not as tall as Moreton Island, which you see behind me over there. But in many ways, it has far more appeal to the visitor. It's very easy to access. There are regular daily vehicular and water taxi ferry services running from the mainland. It has a network of excellent paved roads, and it has quite a lot of holiday accommodation from flats right through to some quite superb hotels. It's had its share of controversy over the years. It's been the centre of a long dispute about sand mining. But the northern end of the island, Point Lookout and that area, the Amity and Dunwich areas, are the centres of population, so that's where you stay. And if you want to explore a true wilderness sand island, all you do is head south into the wilderness there, and you have all of the qualities of all of the great sand islands wrapped into one. For many years, North Stradbroke Island has been one of the most densely populated of the huge number of Moreton Bay Islands. The settlement at Dunwich, which was established during the early days of the Brisbane colony, attracted those people who enjoyed isolation or earned their living from the sea, and for a long time the only way to reach the mainland was by a sometimes hazardous boat trip, which often took up to 12 hours. With the advent of sand mining on the island, a regular vehicular barge service was established by Stradbroke Island Ferries. The huge barges, capable of carrying 2 or 3 semi-trailers as well as cars and passengers, operate in all weathers, taking somewhere between 1 and 1.5 hours for the trip, depending on the weather. Late in 1986, the ferry company recognised a growing need for a fast taxi service to the island to serve the needs of a growing number of tourists and holidaymakers, as well, of course, as the sand mining employees and the local residents. They assessed the available boats and settled on a 41-foot Atlay Cougar Cat. This boat has proven herself in the fast taxi role in such areas as Sydney Harbour, the Whitsundays and Townsville, and the service was inaugurated in April 1987. Initially there was some doubt as to whether the trip could be run all the time. Moreton Bay, being shallow, can come up with some of the nastiest seas on the east coast, and the short, deep chop has accounted for many able boats over the years. But the Cougar Cat has proven herself more than capable of handling the conditions, and services are run regardless of weather, taking an average of about 20 minutes. Atlay's experience in building these boats, particularly with the interior layout, has meant that they've put big windows so that everybody aboard can see out, and they give an excellent view of the beautiful bay. The skipper, Frank Windsor, describes the sights, and the Cat leaves from Cleveland and curves out across the bay past Coochie-Muglo and Peel Islands, and she lands at the specially built jetty adjacent to the barge ramps. She's powered by 2 Caterpillar 3208Ts, and that gives her a top speed of around 30 knots with a cruising speed of around 26. She's unusual as far as the water taxis are concerned in that she doesn't have a flybridge, being a straight sedan layout. North Stradbroke is one of that phenomenal string of sand islands reaching along the southern Queensland coast. The sand is carried down the great rivers of New South Wales north of Sydney from the Great Dividing Range, carried out to sea, and there's a northward set which takes it up the coast and has formed the chain of islands. South Stradbroke, North Stradbroke, Moreton, Bribie and Fraser Island were all formed in this way. North Stradbroke is unusual among the string of sand islands in that it has been settled for many years, as I said earlier. It has a network of sealed roads around the northern end of the island, many of them built by Consolidated Rutile, who operate sand mining in the area, and that means that people are able to live on the islands, particularly with the access given backwards and forwards on a regular basis by Stradbroke Island ferries, and able to either work on the mainland and easily commute backwards and forwards, or of course work on the island itself. There is a string of holiday flats and holiday accommodation on the northern end of the island, typified by Lally's Hotel Motel. Excellent accommodation, a beer garden which looks north across the South Passage Bar to Moreton Island, and is a very, very nice place for a honeymoon or to spend a very pleasant and easy week. And if you're looking for more of a wilderness, it's possible, particularly if you have a four-wheel drive or you hire one, to actually drive a couple of miles south of Lally's and be in true wilderness. Blue Lake is about a 20-minute drive south on sealed roads. You have to stop your two-wheel drive car on the road and walk for about 20 minutes to get into the lake. It's a window lake, typical of the window lakes on all of the large islands, and shares its accessibility with Brown Lake, which is situated a little further south. These islands are quite remarkable in that despite the fact that they are pure sand, they support a tremendous amount of vegetation. The cemetery at Dunwich tells the history of the settlement of Moreton Bay. It's quite horrific, some of the graves being of people who were no more than 12 or 18 months old when they died of various illnesses and diseases, and it's certainly worth a couple of hours reading the headstones. By the way, it's directly adjacent to the Little Ships Club. Stradbroke has all of the wilderness appeal of the large sand islands. It's excellent to explore, it's accessible. If you take a fishing rod, there are plenty of excellent gutters all the way down the beach, so you can catch a variety of fish, and the fishing truly is excellent. And because of its accessibility, it's becoming more and more popular with people who want to get away from the mad rush in Brisbane or even places further afield, and who only have a limited amount of time. Now, if you're day tripping in the afternoon, it's back aboard the Spirit of Stradbroke for a 20-minute trip back to the mad rush of the mainland. Or if you go over with a vehicle, particularly a four-wheel drive, take some camping equipment so that you can camp on the southern end of the island. You can enjoy the comfortable accommodation on the northern end of the island, but whatever you do, make sure you take your fishing gear. Beautiful North Stradbroke Island and Stradbroke Island ferries. We'll be back right after this.